percent get there this way, and then 21% get this way. So I influenced the group that I was with to look at it that way. Look at these three major avenues into the naval base. So we may see, or likely would see, our future light rail reflect that pattern.
When you just made a comment about the military highway route having less growth, does that mean population influx?
Yes.
Or travel route? Or
Both. Population is I believe what the study is done on. But right now the amount of people getting to the naval base, 46% funnel through that route.
And what was the one through the Ghent area?
37%.
Wow.
Yes, pardon me. Okay. Moving along here.
Okay, one more question. How many are actually using the interstate?
That's what you really need, you said military highway now, it's really interstate.
Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
That's kind of like, wow, is that many?
64.
I'm saying, there's other people when I'm on there.
Yeah. So you're just saying a long military highway,
Yeah.
64 corridor,
Yeah.
that dumps into 564?
Yes.
The bulk of it comes down through there?
Yes.
Okay.
Thank you for pointing that out.
Yeah, I was just trying to picture in my head, my gosh, if there's that much on the interstate, I'm not on military in the morning over there. It's terrible over there.
Right. Yeah, it's not that bad that time I went on military, I can tell you that.
Yeah.
There are 2 more dates coming up for that study, as you see on there. Moving along, September 29th through October 2nd, HRPTA is having their annual meeting in Chicago. Judith made a couple notes here. What it is the industry's premier event, includes general sessions and forums focused on current issues facing public transportation, and features first-rate professional speakers. Who should attend? Transit personnel, policymakers, board members, government agencies, manufacturers, suppliers, and consultants.
So Brian, does HRT have a bunch of people there or what?
Not a bunch of people. I'm going, and I know William Harrell's attending. I believe Sybil Pappas, our chief of facilities and engineering, is attending. I don't know of anybody else.
So could you give us some few lines when you're thinking on what applies to us, what we should know about? Make it user-friendly for us, not send us the whole document.
Sure,
I mean, you can
absolutely.
attach the whole document,
Yeah.
but give us in a few sentences, you know,
Sure thing.
what you're hearing that is helpful.
Absolutely. Will do.
Committee updates. Membership committee, Judith.
All right, we have approximately 50 paid members, individuals. We have a problem with our corporate members. We have a list of 4, but we have only one who we have a new record that's actually paid this year, and that's Susan Johnson's group, which is called
House call company.
House Call Company. The other 3, I don't think have paid in the current year, which means they're not. One of these, we're not even able to identify in the records that have come to us, and that's WWB. I don't know what that is.
I think WWB is not, Bruce.
That's very possible. Randy Wright and
Bruce.
yeah,
Yeah, right.
yeah. You may want to check them.
With Bruce, okay.
Yeah, Bruce
And Bruce
and
Watts.
then, yeah,
Mhm.
Bruce Watts and Randy, yeah.
Those guys would probably give us money.
Yeah.
Okay. And then Randy's group and Keith's group were on there. I think it's sort of a leftover list that I got because they were on there. We need to put some pressure on them. Stay up for this year and for next year.
Who's going to do that, Judith?
I can do it. I mean, no, Josh should do it. Josh is the treasurer. He's supposed to.
Is there a membership goal for the What is the year for the HRPTA? When does the year begin?
It's the calendar.
Calendar year. So as we're thinking about next year, everybody starts moving to strategic planning. Is there a membership goal for next year? And is there a fundraising goal for next year?
Those are great questions. That's what this organization that's what we should be talking about.
Okay. If you'd like some, I actually have a pretty cool template for yearly strategic planning that if business related, it would be a good place to start.
Can you catch me offline with that?
Yes.
Okay, let's grab lunch.
And I'm sure we'll be having an executive committee between now and the meeting, so.
A couple.
Come and present this and
Okay.
comment there, but there may not be another general meeting until that time.
And I do have a projector I use for presentations if we needed to, so like using that wall or something like that, put something up and move through that so everybody can see it.
Okay.
Or we can just hold it in my office. You know, and it's all right here, so.
Yeah.
If you
That
want to.
sounds great too.
Okay, Judith, was there anything else from the membership committee?
No, I think that's it.
Okay.
And you know where we're going, and just help tremendously to know where to go.
Our goal this year, Dean, was to have some successful general membership meetings, which we had not done in the past. It had been just this, more formal business, and we wanted to open that up, open up what we do to the general public, and I think we've done a good job, but we're going to cap that off with Mitch Silver's annual meeting, which we'll get to later in the meeting.
This isn't quite there, but we get a number of other ones.
I can only speak from my frame of reference. Okay. Legislative Committee, normally that's handled by Randy, who is out of town, but you said you had some items you wanted to share, Jerry?
Yes, the first off, and I'm going to try to go through this as quickly as possible, on the federal level, and some of you got an email from me with some of this on it. The House Transportation Infrastructure Committee debated possibly increasing the federal gas tax. That got killed by the Republicans. The MAP 21, which is something that I think some of us will have to look further into, is set to expire in September of next year. Senate Bill 1140 is the Transportation Service Delivery Advisory Committee for the state, which was established to advise HRPTA in the development of a distribution process for transit capital and operating funds, how the funds are distributed, funds for special programs, capital improvements, ride sharing. 25% of the funds shall be allocated to and distributed utilizing a tiered approach evaluated by the Transit Service Delivery Advisory Committee, and there's a specific way how it's set up. VTA is involved in the nomination process, as are several other organizations throughout the state. And then some of us did not know. And first of all, the House, I think it's the House, is already working on the 2014 transportation bill. They started just a couple days ago. Amtrak could face a funding loss. And they have one of the solutions they've been looking at, they've been trying to urge the individual state governors to provide more state funding for trains, like North Carolina funds the Carolinian. I think it's Vermont that pays for the Ethan Allen Express. Rail services like that. But if that doesn't happen, we could end up losing some serious Amtrak service, except in the Northeast Corridor. So
Did they give examples of how that would affect the state of Virginia?
it didn't say in the article that I did see on that, but it would impact a lot of rural communities. It would also impact a lot of long distance trains, like the like the Silver Service that runs from the Northeast down to Florida. The Hoosier, the Indiana Hoosier line, which runs from Indianapolis to Chicago, would be cut. The Cardinal might be cut, which I think is from Washington to Chicago.
I think the group would be interested to hear, like, next meeting,
Yes.
if there's any risk to our 6 regional trains.
And I'm gonna keep as much on top of that as
Love it.
possible. The other thing is that there's the Federal Highway Administration and the Federal Transit Administration have proposed some streamlining rules to the NEPA process, which we just talked about, which could impact, it could impact certain things such as the light rail project in the future. I didn't get this one I pulled up yesterday, so I didn't get to. I got to look at some of it, but it's a very short article, and I can email them to you if you would like.
Just give us a synopsis.
Okay.
Of what you've got
if
prepared.
anybody wants to know what the map 21 is that I mentioned earlier, I can email the much larger details to everyone once I get to work. The broad outlines of this rule were mandated by Congress in its most recent transportation bill, which was the map 21, but specifics were uncertain until September 23rd, which was yesterday. It also authorized the FHWA to enter into certain programmatic streamlining agreements with state departments of transportation, including agreements which would enhance the agency's ability to regulate to state Department of Transportation's the authority to implement the federal categorical exclusions.
Brian, I wanted to be involved in this, but I personally find it just overwhelming, all these bills and things. We really need guidance on this, and really, when you're in touch with this, you know what's going on. Please let us know where we can make a difference from, because it's.
And one final thing, and I shared this just with Judith and Asa and Michael yesterday. It's only in its beginning stages. Since the transportation bill is already being worked on, I thought that maybe each one of us, or as a group, we could send a letter to our senators and our congresspeople on why transportation is important to us and why we should actually have more funding instead of risking slashing it, which would include Amtrak. And I would like to know what happened to the MAX survey.
What happened to Max survey?
Yes. Keith and I, and technically Asa too.
Was that through HRT?
I don't.
No, that was supposed to be endorsed through us.
Oh, okay.
I started it.
Right.
Keith and Asa helped me along with it.
I don't have details on this.
Right.
As far as the legislative goes, I can bring in, I think, Gary's touching some really significant points. What may be helpful, later this week, actually, on Thursday, our board will be considering, the draft legislative agenda for, or priorities, I guess I should say, for 2014. So, and they touch these points, MAP 21 is a big deal. That is the existing transportation authorization bill that expires in September of next year. So Congress really needs to work on a reauthorization bill. But in tandem with that, and what makes it different this time around maybe than in the past, Congress has been able to get away with, doing these continuing resolutions and kind of kicking the can down the road, so to speak. That's not the case with MAP 21 this time around because of the pending insolvency of the Highway Trust Fund, which it so happens that, in September of next year, when MAP 21 expires, that's also the point at which there would be just deficit spending. The Highway Trust Fund would be bankrupt. So Congress has got a huge task in front of it